Good morning and welcome to the Option Pit AM Volatility Report. I'm Mark Sebastian, the founder of this company. We're going to have a webinar coming up next Thursday. Be on the lookout for that email. So if you are interested in learning about volatility, you will want to attend this webinar. So that is what we've got coming up here at OptionPit.com. In addition, make sure you're reading our blog every day. It should be your go-to read. All right, so let's talk about the markets. Well, that GDP number, pretty good. But as I look at the markets, here we are on the verge of really a 100-point rally. And VIX is about where it was at the lows on Tuesday. So volatility is not falling off, and the futures themselves are not falling off that much and remain in a heavy backwardation, which points toward them still nervous about what they're seeing. Now, the markets are up big, but, we chased down, some big technical levels, and I would point that we're up huge, and VIX down 3.5, and VXX only down 50 cents, and futures not down very much at all. So there's still some strength in volatility futures, and in volatility. It has not collapsed on this rally. In fact, most of the movement in VIX has been related more to the change in underlying price than the change in volatility. And that's a major thing to understand. Tuesday's rally was a much bigger change in actual volatility than what we're seeing today. As I look across at all kind of the different pieces moving around, I don't want to say I'm skeptical of the rally, but I just don't. I'm not ready to go long, and I'm generally a bull. I am. But I'm not really ready to go long until I see this curve, VIX, SEPAC, and NOV revert back to a normal curve, because it just points towards some fear. So, what I tell people is I'd rather be buying for 2,000 and be 100% I'm right, 100% certain I'm right, than 1970 and only 60% certain, which is where I am. And so, my general feeling is I don't think it's a good short right now. I don't think the market's a super safe short, but I don't believe in the long. And I do think that we could see a turnaround story. All right, we're not up crazy huge like we were yesterday. It's not the major corporate buyback day. So there are compelling reasons to think that we could turn around, most notably volatility, which is not a believer in this sell-off or in this rally. It just straight up isn't. And until I see volatility believe, I don't believe. And that's my general approach. So does that mean there's nothing you can do? No, I mean, today is an interesting day to start dipping into things like broken wing butterflies, iron condors, some things where volatility is sinking a little bit. All right, maybe some interesting plays in VIX make some sense. Some interesting quality stocks that have rallied maybe look interesting for broken wing flies, 1x, 2x, 3s, different plays like that. Also, I might play around with some sort of long call, long VXX call trade that could be kind of interesting. There may be a play like that works, or a short put long VXX. That would be another play that could potentially work really well. How about a long UVXY play? With the kind of doubling effect, believe it or not, 2 shares of VXX is going to outperform 1 share of UVXY. And that is because of the daily inversion issues in UVXY. So my general feeling is that I kind of like, I kind of like the VXX. So, a short put versus a long VXX call could be a really interesting play. And that might be something I would look at. Again, until I see this curve normalize, I'm not normalizing my beliefs. And many of you know I'm a long and strong type trader. And I truly do believe in the market's tendency to move higher. I just don't see it right now. And I don't believe markets are fully buying into that either. So watch as the day unfolds. Watch the VIX futures. Watch the VIX itself, and watch that SPX. There could be a lot of reasons for things to back off, especially with that strong GDP number. You know, the Fed raising rates now could throw us into the taper tantrum part 2. Who knows? I don't think anybody's completely clear on all the factors that led to the huge sell-off. But I can tell you right now, like I said, we're 50 points higher we're 30 points higher than the highs of Tuesday, and the VIX is at the same place. Vol's higher. VIX futures are higher. So I'm just not sure that everything aligns the way that maybe the cheerleaders would like. I'm not saying we're not going to rally, but volatility futures don't appear to completely buy into it. All right, folks, on that note, if you got questions, you can email me, marketoptionpit.com. You can call me 888-TRADE-01.